Hey guys, it's Showdown here, and I wanted to bring you guys some more League of Legends updates. We've got the Showdown and Magma Chamber info, as well as the new free week champion rotation for the 2014 Week 8 preseason. I don't know if it's actually the Week 8 preseason or we're actually going into, kind of Week 1 of the 2014 season, but either way, it says Week 8, and we'll jump into that in a few minutes here, but yeah, so let's jump in with the Showdown and Magma Chamber info. So, in December, we debuted our second featured game mode, Showdown. We wanted to share some of the results from the mode's first run and give an update on the less icy map we showed off at the 2013 All-Star Game and said we'd launch before the next season. The idea for a 1v1/2v2 map originated from a Thunderdome project and ended up evolving into what you saw at the 2013 All-Star Game. At the time, the featured game modes project was just kicking off, and the team decided to take a deeper dive into a 1v1/2v2 game mode, and they discovered a few things. One, pros and eternal player testers actually preferred the longer lanes, health packs, and brush of Howling Abyss. And Magma Chamber ran alright on the nigh supercomputers pros were playing on, but was far from optimized and had a slew of unforeseen performance issues. So meaning you had to have like quad SLI titans and stuff like that to even have it working decently. So, more optimization needs to be done for Magma Chamber. But moving on, there were also a few questions that needed answers. Would 1v1/2v2 be popular and replayable mode for players? What's the correct map layout? Should players be able to choose a lane on Summer's Rift? Should there be health pickups? Brush? What's the optimal rule set for 1v1 or 2v2 matchups? So we had to make a decision. We wanted to try out a game mode like this, but creating a mode-specific map represented a significant commitment when we weren't sure the game mode was going to be something players wanted. Since players seemed really interested in a 1v1/2v2 experience, we chose to try the game mode out on Howling Abyss, an art-complete and optimized map to gather player feedback and data. Showdown was a relatively short-lived experience for most players. Tons of players tried Showdown out when it first released, but only after a week, players worldwide spent less than 1% of all in-game time on Showdown. Generally, we heard good feedback about 1v1/2v2 gameplay on Howling Abyss as compared to Magma Chamber. Players also had ideas about continued improvements for 1v1/2v2 experiences, such as being able to do specific top, mid, or bot lane matchups on SR. I guess that's Summoner's Rift. Yeah. Summoner's Rift, I'm sorry. A little sick, guys, so forgive me. Ultimately, we concluded that Magma Chamber simply isn't the right place for us to further develop a great 1v1/2v2 experience, and the mode itself isn't sustainable as a permanent feature. So after many discussions and a lot of fact-checking, we're halting development on Magma Chamber of the Magma Chamber map you saw at last year's All-Star Game. That doesn't mean that a lot of you and us didn't have fun dueling it out on Howling Abyss, and we really want to bring back 1v1/2v2 in the future. If you're interested in the complete breakdown of our featured game mode data, as well as some information on future Showdown, check Brakkar's post. I'll put a link in the description down below. We know we changed our minds after making a commitment, and we're sorry. We hate doing it. The biggest promise we make, and the one that makes us believe this is the right decision, is that we aspire to be the most player-focused game company in the world. We're always trying to make decisions that we think are in the best interest of players, and in this case, we think that the best path forward is to perfect 1v1/2v2 as a featured game mode. We're excited about the future possibilities, and there are already more projects in the works. We thank you guys, in the works we think you guys will love. Sorry, again, a little sniffly. I've got a cold, so yeah, deal with it. But yeah, I didn't have a chance to try out the whole 1v1 or 2v2 scenario with Showdown because I've just been busy. Some of you who have me on your League friends list probably barely see me on because I'm doing other stuff. But yeah, I really want to be able to do this. I've done like custom games where it's like, oh, you invite 3 friends and you just do 2v2 on on Howling Abyss anyway. But it'd still be fun to have that exact game mode. So you could just be like, okay, this is the we're not going to be all random. It's just this. You get to choose, and it is that 2v2 on Howling Abyss or 1v1. But yeah, moving on to the free week champion rotation. This week we've got Quirky, Rammus, Tarek, Udyr, Lux, Caitlyn, Fizz, Ari, Rengar, and Kha'Zix. So, unlike the previous ones, I'm not going to say how many bot games because, yeah, it just takes too long, etc. I will tell you general item builds you can expect and the roles they generally fill. So, Quirky, 9 out of 10 times will be ADC, he'll be in the bot trying to get the CS and whatnot. General items you can see on him would be stuff like Infinity Edge, a Bloodthirster, stuff like a Trinity Force doesn't go amiss on Quirky. That's almost a staple in Quirky's build actually. And it synergizes very, very well with his passive. Same thing with Infinity Edge. The higher his AD is, the more true damage he does with his passive. So yes, building AD is always a good thing on Quirky. You want to also get a little decent mix of health in there. That's why I say, the Trinity Force, because it gives you that health, gives you the mana, gives you movement speed, gives you everything you want as Quirky. But, yeah. Those are general items you can expect to see on him. Maybe a Frozen Mallet, just for that additional slow, and Blade of the Rune King as well. For the increased attack speed, or not attack speed, the increased AD as well as the true damage and whatnot. Or not the true damage, but the additional AD on hit damage. Next we've got Rammus, who is playing more in the jungle than anything else. I prefer to play him in the jungle at least. Very, very, very potent jungler. You might see him be played as support, but 9 out of 10 times he'll also be played in the jungle. Just like 9 out of 10 times Quirky's played as ADC. But standard items you can expect to see on Rammus would be, Thornmail, Randuin's Omen. You can expect to see maybe an Abyssal Scepter. Maybe. That's a stretch, but definitely, Randuin's Omen, Randuin's Omen, Thornmail, Warmogs, those are pretty standard on Rammus. Expect him to get a decent mix of magic resist in there as well. Next we've got Tarek, who he's a support. You'll generally see him played in the support role down at bottom, or if the 2 bottom are switching up at the top, him and the ADC will be top instead. But items you can expect to see on him would be stuff like a Iceborne Gauntlet, an Athene's Unholy Grail. What else? Warren's Mail doesn't go amiss on him either. Generally pretty beefy items, high armor, magic resist, and some AP mixed in as well is always going to be good for Tarek. But that being said, you don't want to go too AP heavy, otherwise you're just going to be a hindrance more than you are a help. But, again, stuff like that Randuin's Omen's going to be good, the Iceborne Gauntlet's going to be good, and just, kind of play it by ear from there. Have that good mix of armor magic, because there's at least 100 of each, and maybe at least, 50 or so AP, if not more. Next, we've got Udyr, very, very potent jungler. Again, 9 out of 10 times played in the jungle, very rarely will you see him played in lane. When he's in the jungle, you can expect to see items such as Madred's Razor, turn that into a Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, Spirit of the Elder Lizard, get a Blade of the Rune King, maybe a Warmogs, Warren's Mail, get some sort of magic resist mixed in there. He's going to be built tanky with a good mix of damage in there as well. He's not one to build pure damage, pure tanky. It's more that good mix. The survivability bruiser build, pretty much. Be able to take the hits, but dish them out at the same time without insane crits and stuff like that. It's that mix of goodness that you want for Udyr. Next we have Lux, who played either mid or support. She's played mid, pretty standard AP items, Rabadon's Death Cap, Zhonya's Hourglass, and Ryla's Crystal Scepter. Don't go miss on her. She's playing as support, and as mid as well. You can actually get Athene's Unholy Grail. It's good for mana regen for her. It's good magic resist. If she's being played as support, you would also get Malik's Crucible, for instance. That's also pretty decent for her. And, just other support items of Runic Bulwark. All of the support items you could expect to see on Lux if she's playing support. If she's playing mid, expect general mid items for an AP. Caitlyn, just like Quirky, standard ADC, gonna see her played bottom or top, depending on if the top player wants to switch. Now, with her, unlike Quirky, she doesn't get that true bonus or true damage bonus that scales off for AD, but she does get a powerful, and I mean powerful, punch with her, I guess the sharpshooter, her passive. It hurts. That's all you need to know, is it hurts, and it stacks up twice as fast when you're attacking from the brush. So, yeah, her standard build would be Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and you kind of play it by ear from there. You wouldn't be surprised to see Guardian Angel on her, Static Shiv maybe, or, again, just like on Quirky, maybe get that Last Whisper. So, again, standard ADC items. You'll very rarely see her get some AP. If you do, it's probably to build into a Trinity Force, which is kind of bad for Caitlyn anyway. Next we have Fizz, who can be played in the top, but is mostly played in mid, and does decent in the jungle. But he kind of excels at mid or top lane. He builds that whole kind of, what is it? Rabadon's Death Cap, I was about to say blasting one, but what is it? Got it. The name escapes me for whatever reason. Let's actually check and see, because I know it might say, some of the recommended items for him. Recommended item, Void Staff's always good. The Sheen, what does that build into again? I know it builds into two things. There we go, the Lichbane. Lichbane's also good on Fizz as well as it is on Lux. So, Lichbane on Fizz, always good. Again, that Abyssal Scepter is going to be good. The Rabadon's Death Cap, Zhonya's, your standard AP mid items. You wouldn't see him get a Crystal Scepter or, something along the lines of, a Archangel Staff, but, maybe a Rod of Ages, because it does give you that health, gives you the mana regen, gives you AP. And that's kind of what Fizz needs. He doesn't need another slow, he doesn't need anything like that, he just needs a little more sustain. And sustain health-wise, not mana-wise. But, yeah, very, very, very potent mid-champion. Next we have Ahri, who just like Lux, but more so like Fizz, 9 out of 10 times played in the mid. Very rarely will see you played any other lane. Again, standard AP items on her, but expect her to get, that Rod of Ages, expect maybe a Archangel Staff. Crystal Scepter doesn't go amiss. And again, Rabadon's Death Cap is always a good option for Ahri. On that standard AP items and play it by ear from there on what you need. I always recommend an Athene's Unholy Grail on her as well, because all of her spells are mana intensive, so very, very good for her to have that. Next we've got Rengar, who's a very potent jungler, decent top laner, but more potent in the jungle. You want to build him kind of the same way you build Udyr. High damage, high health, high survivability, but low, 0 to no crit, low to none crit, I should say, or low to no crit, rather. What else? Pretty high damage. A Frozen Mallet doesn't go amiss on him just because he is melee. He wants to be up in the fray all the time, slowing people, getting the damage, and helping get the kills. People tend to want to get, or might want to get his unique item, which, let me see if I can pull that up here with his thing here, which is the bone tooth necklace. Wow, I can't talk today, but yeah, people might want to get the bone tooth necklace. From my experience, it's not really worth it. You might want to go ahead and get like the Ravenous Hydra, the Phage, or Frozen Mount instead, and just leave the bone tooth necklace for like last item when you're just like, I don't know what the hell to buy. I've got like full slots except for one. That's when you're like, okay, maybe I'll get the bone tooth necklace now. It's nice but not needed to play Rengar good. But very potent jungler, and again, very high sustain, high damage, no crit. And last but not least, we have Kha'Zix, who good mid lane, good top lane, good jungle. All three of those roles he fulfills very, very well. Items you could see on him would be a Manamune into Muramana. Maybe get a Trinity Force. That really isn't all that bad for Kha'Zix. But stuff like a Black Cleaver is good. Last Whisper. Maybe get a Bloodthirster. Maybe. I'm saying, again, kind of for him, very high AD. High AD. Because, the only ability he has that really scales with AP is his leap, and 9 out of 10 times you're not going to be using leap other than to get in and out of combat. That's the only reason you use leap, just like you would with Tristana's rocket jump. But his Q scales very well with AD, his W scales well with AD, the damage component that is. The heal, don't even bother trying to get that to scale with your AP, it's not worth it. But again, Bloodthirster is good. Static Shiv isn't a miss on him. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad either. Ravenous Hydra is good on Kha'Zix. And again, stuff like that. Last Whisper, Manamune, gonna be good for Kha'Zix. And you want a decent, mixture of health in there as well. Maybe some magic resist. So maybe, just maybe get like a Guardian Angel, for instance. That'd almost be the extent of what you need. Maybe Iceborne Gauntlets to be like, just a troll if you're so far ahead, it doesn't matter. But yeah, guys, that's it. Sorry for the mess ups. Sorry for lack of talking, or lack of knowledge rather. But yeah, I'm sick. # deal with it. My name has been Showdown. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, I will talk to you all next time.